Hi there.
Hi. So my first question is, how do you feel about this whole thing we've been doing?
Flattered, nervous, emotional.
Emotional, why?
I'm not sure why, just maybe just that you didn't take the trouble to do it.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad that I did. All right. Next question. Where did you grow up?
Well, up and down Queensland. Dad was a policeman, so we moved around a lot. So I started school in Rockhampton, so we were there for 5 years. But then we were in Cairns for 1 year, and I think we were in Townsville for 2 years. Then we were in Longreach for 2 years, and then we were in Brisbane. I don't know that Mum was super keen about it, but kids cope. Dad was, a man of his time, I suppose. Authoritarian, and not really any expression of softness or emotion. I don't recall, maybe I'm being unkind, him ever saying he loved me. Mum was very much a home person, I suppose, cooking, sewing. She used to like sewing. Used to make all of our clothes for school and stuff like that. Struggled, I think, as a lot of people did, a lot of women did then, with what was called nerves. Got the poor petrol thing, where is it? There. We'd often hold a hand out and say, look, how bad I am, my hands are shaking. Often, look what you kids are doing to me, making me this nervous and shaky. Yeah, I can see a lot of Dad in me, even though I'm a lot softer, and some of that is as a result of how I was treated and how us kids were treated at times. That I wasn't going to be like that.
That you did good as a parent?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there are too many things that I'd say I would do differently. You might disagree.
No, I agree.
So at the back of our property here, this is our back boundary fence. It runs for about 1 kilometre.
We used to come up here for picnics and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
we come up here for picnics, and this was a special spot here because it's a bit open. And you can look right across the valley there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So what's happened to the buggy?
Let me catch my breath.
Okay.
So we've flipped a stump with the front wheel as we've come down. So I'm just going to try and whack it aside out from underneath the wheel. Right. Here's the case. I think it might have targeted the floor. I did always like animals, and I was always, from as long as I can remember, bringing home stray things or rescuing things. Ended up going, I think, a little bit to Dad's disappointment, going to university, even though I don't think I had ever set foot in a vet clinic in my life. I thought I was always going to be in practice helping animals, but Being a vet in private practice is pretty hard. So often in my time in practice, it was, you'd give people a range of scenarios. Ideally, we'd do this and broken leg or something, and that's going to cost you whatever, or we could try just a plaster cast, but that's not really the best thing for that because the break's too high or something. Or, you might decide to put him to sleep if for humane reasons. So that was often on the agenda, and people would just say, "I'm sorry, we can't afford it," and the kids may be there. Turn to the kids, "Sorry, darling." So that's Caramel. She's Cadbury's daughter. She's the last of the mature cows, if you like. All the rest are youngsters, like 3 and 4 year olds. Those two are Hilda's granddaughters. There's 3 actually. A nice line of drought master across young cows. I would welcome and was a vet for, because I had an interest and some ability, injured wildlife. So that was the situation. And also used to foster a lot of animals, keeping them and rearing them and ideally releasing them and stuff like that as well.
Didn't you have like 12 stray cats at one point?
I think it was 11 was what we got to. I mean, we didn't mean to, but, we had 1 cat, Toby, and then 2's not much different to 1, and then 3 really isn't any different to 2, and, et cetera, and before you know it, you've got 11 cats, one of which had 2 legs, Tui, diagonal. She came in, it had radial paralysis in one front leg, it just dragged its leg, and the other diagonal back leg had, I think, a compound femoral fracture, so the main bone in the leg, and, I should have euthanized it. But, I figured I'd done so well to survive that long. And so she used to get around famously with 2 legs on. Yep.
What made you want a place like this? And how did you go about finding it?
Yeah, well, we had travelled. And, as we went around, we just thought, this is a lovely place, it's a nice place, it would be good to get something like this. And we were just saw this place in the window of the real estate agent. And he said something like, "Why would you want to buy out here? This place is never going to develop." And we both thought and said to each other, if it's never going to develop, that's the place for us. Why would you buy out here? It's never going to develop. Great, So this is the local rail trail. It used to be a train line, hence the name Rail Trail. The local community got together and made it into a walking trail or a riding trail. Every month, first Saturday of the month, normally there's a dozen or 20 people come down, and all this stuff around here that's 2 or 3 metres high, that's all been planted by us or by others in the group over the last year or 2. So by and large, it's doing really well. So it was very much coming up on weekends, which was great, but it was hard to maintain the place part-time. And I didn't want it to become a chore and a task. What's on the list? What have I got to do today? And that's what I was getting like. I realised I was spending too much time alone, not sleeping well, probably drinking too much. Had accepted that I needed to have people help me do that stuff.
It's alright, I'll edit this out.
Come and jump on the log. Keep coming. Right, just hold it there. I'm going to get you the chainsaw. So if you just hold that. But that's where I am, and so I've been working through a few things, and I'm fairly happy at the moment with, although there's still a beam out there that needs to be replaced under the veranda. The roots of being here is the wildlife stuff, so the wildlife cameras and the bird bath is great. There's some very cute photos. That's so good. So, and they just love coming to this bird bath where they actually bath. They don't just drink the water. They get in and fluff up and have a great time. And some of them are very comical. So last year we put up 30 plus nest boxes of various sizes and shapes. So looking in them with the camera to see what we've got in there at the moment or if they're being used, etc., rekindles that whole thing for being here. We're checking some nest boxes. We've got about 30 nest boxes that we put up last year. We had a big fire about 2 years ago and it burnt down a lot of trees that had hollows in it. So we just thought it was good to put some nest boxes up. There's a range of sizes and heights, but today we're just going to check some of the lower ones with the pole camera. Be a bit of a stretch. Anything?
Oh, there's a fucking huge spider in there.
Right.
How would you like to spend the rest of your life?
Well, I'd like to spend it healthy and active. When I was 50, I was diagnosed with stomach cancer. And there was a time, well, for the first couple of years after that, I presumed that I wasn't going to live. But there was a time there when I just felt like I was living in a different world. I was living in this world almost like with a blanket over me or with a fog all around me, and not slow-mo, but sort of here temporarily. This is not going to be a part of my world, or I'm not going to be a part of this world. But as time went by, I had, this realisation that, well, shit, maybe I survived to 20, whatever it is now, 20 years. But health is a big part of it, and being physically able. I've always been physically active, never been concerned about age, probably until I turned 70, which is a bit weird because 70 is not any different to 69, but then you start doubting yourself. Oh shit, I'm not supposed to be up here. That kind of physical decline is going to come with time, and I think all you can do is just push back against it. I'm sure you've captured my physique on this various footage, but I reckon that I look pretty much like a 90-year-old Clint Eastwood, and which I was quite proud of. But Michelle said, yeah, but you're only 70. So, but he had a line, no, it was a song in one of his movies, Don't Let the Old Man In. And I guess that's my philosophy, don't let the old man in. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with getting old. You should be proud of getting old. Age gracefully, tell the people that you love them, and make the most of it, I guess.